Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Mount Smart Stadium number 2. That is the grass you are seeing right now, and we are live for the Howick Hornets versus the Glenora Bears in the SAS Fox Memorial Premiership Major semi-final. What a game this will be. There he is, Suape Kavaliku, one of the captains of this Glenora side. He was just about the difference last week against Northcote, and will need another big game if the Glenora Bears are to counter what Tony Tuia and Clayton Williams and co throw at them today. As we await the arrival of the two teams, I'll acknowledge my two commentating partners today, both TJ Ashford, who's doing our stats, and of course Troy Hardy, who I've been with from the very start. We've called a number of games together this year. 2 more to go, which is actually a little bit emotional for me. Troy, I don't know about you. You don't seem overly sad about it, but hey.
That's why I brought the big box of tissues. That said, this is shaping up to be an absolute white-knuckle ride as we get the two big teams. And you can hear the background. Here they come, ladies and gentlemen, onto the screen now. The two captains, Howick Hornets and Glenora Bears. Steps towards the big stage, Corey.
Jethro Friend leading out the Hornets, and Suape Kavaliku along with Zach Tippins for the Glenora Bears. Some wonderful, wonderful contributors to the Auckland game on the field today. And a great shot there of Kavaliku and Jethro Friend. Not only very, very good players, but wonderful leaders as well. Really the heart and soul of their clubs. So here they come, the Hornets. Making their way off to the right, and the Glenora Bears to the left. Both of these teams were here 7 days ago for the elimination and qualifying final. Glenora Bears getting up over Northcote in a thriller by 2 points. And the Mount Albert Lions beating Howick pretty convincingly in the end. So Mount Albert direct the winner of this one to join them, and the loser to go home. Take a look at how the Howick Hornets will take the field today, and the key in for them is Jordan Papa. He returns from injury. Tony Tuia and Clayton Williams will be important in the middle, but watch for Jethro Friend and the way that he controls the speed of this game. He's a crafty character at number 9, and will get through a mountain of work as well. And for the Glenora Bears, coached by Ross Ueli, the key players for them, Kavaliku up in the front row. Watch for Solomon Vasuvulangi as well. And then Jordan Torde, who had a wonderful game last week. He is so, so important to them and will have a big, big role to play in the halves for the Glenora Bears today.
Shaping up to be an absolute fantastic game today. And as Corey rightly said earlier in the piece, the build-up for this one is that everyone here wants to go to the big dance. There's no second coming. This is all or nothing today.
So preparing for kickoff now, it will be the Glenora Bears to run it back from the Mount Smart number 1 end here at the number 2 stadium. Chris McMillan with the middle today. One of the top refs around, and a kick out on the full. Oh dear. You wait all that time, all of that anticipation builds, and then you boot the ball out on the full. And the Glenora Bears now will get a penalty on halfway and get straight into it. And Troy, you can't help but think back to last week when the Glenora Bears score on their very first set. Eyeing another fast start here, a dream start from their point of view. They haven't had to do anything, and they're going to start this set from about 40 metres off their own line.
Yep, well, I've got nothing to add to that. That's just, not the way the Howick wanted to start. However, they get to muscle up on the defence now, so they want to get a couple of shots on and make sure that Glenora Bears, as we see one of the big pathfinders, start mowing down the field to try and stop that momentum moving forward.
Fourth place through the regular season for the Glenora Bears. It was first for the Howick Hornets. They were the minor premiers, the Rukatai Shield winners. So a mistake in there. Handover ball now. Apologise for a little bit of commotion in the background there as we get a couple of little technical things sorted, but in the meantime we're back on the football with the Howick Hornets, and it is Royden Gillett marching the ball forward. Jethro Friend looking to speed things up and then hands off to Nick Wilson, this super impressive back rower. He graduated through into the Counties Manukau setup a couple of years ago and is a reliable presence on that edge, as is this man through the middle, Tony Tuia. What a career he has had. Continues to play great football. Clayton Williams, the off-season addition to the front row, and he gets tipped up awkwardly. Swape says, "Who, me?" Referee McMillan awards the penalty, so now the Howick Hornets with a chance to kick for touch. Penalties each way to start this one, and probably not the start we had envisaged, although I'm sure both teams will find their way into this contest as we go. This is Jesse Albrecht, who was probably one of their better performers last week in a well-beaten team. Johnny Vueti-Bell taking the ground. They're 30 metres out from the line now, the Howick Hornets. It goes Friend to Tuia, and Tuia goes backdoor. Links with Prendergast, who then shuffles on. Liam Prendergast, he's had a good year as well. This originally a Waikato man, came up for a shot with the Junior Warriors and has stayed and been a really important member of this club as well. Constant in their halves this year as Jordan Papa directs traffic and has taken the ground 20 metres out from the line now. Prendergast goes to Vueti-Bell. Friend to Tuia. Tuia goes short at the line and they're over for the opener, Howick. Just like that, Tony Tuia with the sleight of hand at the line sends Brandon Lee over, and the Howick Hornets on their first meaningful possession down this end have 4 points on the board. 4-0, kick to come.
SAS Action Sporting replay. We can see a wee bit of a tussle in here with a few of the big forwards from Glenora just trying to slow that, play the ball down, and when you've got Kevaluku line on top of you, that tends to happen. However, they shift left. Tony, nice little pop ball here, slipped out of the tackle, bang, 4 points, Hornets are up.
So 4 minutes gone. Looks like Connor Morris might be the man to attempt the conversion. It is going to be him taking on the kicking with Carlos Hortony missing. And our thoughts go out to Carlos. If you're watching from hospital, Carlos, hope the recovery is going well and the surgery's been successful. Certainly tough to watch Carlos suffer that injury last week. Put a real dampener on what was otherwise a brilliant day. So Morris to attempt the conversion. In fact, it's Jesse Kevin, the number one. So Kevin steps in, strikes it, looks good off the boot, flags are up, and it is the Howick Hornets who lead 6 points to 0. And after a horror start from the kick out on the full, TJ Ashford, they recover nicely, and Tony Tuia special that time at the line.
Yeah, Glenora were probably just found ball watching there on their own try line, so unfortunately didn't get off to a good start with a drop ball on their first set. Howick looking good though, having bodies in motion there attacking the try line, so that was good.
Certainly a different kind of start than they experienced last week for the Howick Hornets, who went down fairly early to Maunau. But now Tony Tuia says, "I'm not just a playmaker," and brings it back off the back fence. Those middles will be so important today. There's no doubting the Glenora Bears have the best forward pack in the comp in my view, and Nick Wilson will be important in that as well. He's really struggled with injury through the second part of the year. His Friend now brings Williams onto the ball, and you can just see Jethro Friend there. He's bringing those big boys onto the ball at pace and doing a nice little job so far. So Karia Ioka has pulled up in back play. The Kelston graduate, he's battling with a shoulder by the look of it. We'll try and keep an eye on that for you. In the meantime, Jethro Friend threading them out of dummy half. Was he copped high that time? Play on the call from McMillan. It goes Kevin to his right to Papa, and Jordan will just drill a kick down between winger and fullback, and it's scooped up and claimed by Kenneth Fanorti, who brings the football back. So a bit of a frantic start to this match. Glenora now with the chance to come out of their own end, and of course Troy for Glenora, they lose a big one in Waiarangi. Kenneth Fanorti moves into the fullback role, but we've called him a few times this year. He's been so big for them.
Yeah, grave loss. Good strike weapon as we see Glenora, on the hopper here out of the ruck area. One of the big things for me, and you sort of touched on it earlier, was Nick coming back after, for the Howick Hornets, the second rower. Pretty quiet coming into the final series and, suffering with injury, so I'm expecting him to have a big game today.
So Tore looks high, and this will be a tester at the back for Kevin, although Albrecht goes up for it and takes it with aplomb and does really nicely there in the end as the Howick Hornets now bring it back. And confirmation in back play that Karia Ioka has gone off. So this is the second week in a row they've lost a key position early on, and Karia was named as their lock forward today, so I guess in some respects they've got the cover there, but someone's going to have to now pick up bigger minutes, and they lose a bit of a playmaking threat there as well with what he's able to do on the ball. So early dramas for the Bears. Not only are they 6-0 down, but Ioka off the field as Tuia shuffles out to the left, and they try their luck down the left with Royden Gillett, who just for a second put the nose through. 7.5 gone. The Hornets on the attack for the second time in this match. Papa with a belting kick up high. They'll do well to bring this one in. Albrecht, the bounce deceives him. Foimono claims it, taps it back, and knock on from the Howick Hornets. This will be a handover. So Kavaliku on the charge. Tippins. Oh, big contact up top. And Clayton Williams leading the charge. Tippins to Bernard. Bernard with a little swerve at the line. Lays such a good platform for this team in the opening exchanges, Chase Bernard. Really strong player in the middle. Tuore will work the short side to Vasu Volangi. Ball pops loose. Howick swarm. Tuore looks up, steps. Tuore goes through a little gap and then dribbles the kick in behind, and Tuia recovers it. But Troy already pretty clear to see that there's a little bit of a different attitude to this Howick Hornets team right now, although Tuia looks like he may have spilled that one in the end, and this may go back to the Glenora Bears.
Yeah, they've certainly got off to a dream start. I mean, outside of the kicking piece, to get 4 points up, inside the first few minutes, obviously put them in the right frame of mind. And I know that, hearing Tony Tuia on the radio this week, he was certainly talking up a big game. So they've certainly come to play, as both teams have, because there is no tomorrow.
Nick Wilson carries forward. They're now 15 short of halfway, and Clayton Williams says, Suape Kavaliku, I'm coming for you. Brings it back, and I think Suape will mind that one bit just quietly. James Tomata's the man that's come on to sub on for Karia Ioka.
Great tackle.
Swing it to the left now. This is Prendergast. Goes to Kevin. Kevin kicks. It takes a deflection, and this might be 6 again here for Glenora. Yes, it will. For Howick, I should say. Down on halfway. Interesting to see the role that James Tomata plays. He came on for Waiarangi last week and ended up playing his normal position on the wing. A little bit different now with Ioka at lock, although he's just about big enough to play lock forward anyway, Tomata, so don't be surprised if that's the role he fills, and he is defending in the middle. Goes to Tuia. Goes back door to Papa, who was rushed by his opposite number, Zion Ioka. And then Papa goes back infield looking for a gap. Kavaliku arrives late and goes down, and now is walking back into the defensive line. His friend stabs a kick in behind, and Kenneth Fenaughty had to be on song to clean that one up.
Showing a lot of urgency on the defence line, aren't they, the Howick Hornets?
Line speed, certainly a real bonus for them so far, and it's been led by Jethro Friend. Tippins. Backline involved in it now, and this is Paulie. So an error in there, or a penalty I should say. Plenty of errors and penalties to start this one. Probably a nervous start from both teams. They're going to tap and go here, Glenora. More fresh legs on the park in the shape of Kalani to Whairangi Charlie. Tippins looks to his right to Bernard, who comes back towards the centre of the ruck. 15 inside attacking territory now. Whairangi Charlie. He was good last week. Added plenty to their pack. Tippins to Tuore to Vasu Volangi. Vasu Volangi runs straight and hard at Prendergast. Tuore now the dummy half. Goes short side to Paulie. Paulie dinks a little kick in behind. Chase is good, but ball beats everyone in the end, and we'll go back out for a restart at the 20. It's the Hornets who lead 6-0. We'll go to TJ Ashford for a little stats update.
Yeah, both teams actually doing pretty good with the ball there, Corey. Howick's had 7 opportunities with the ball, including this one, so they're completing at 100% at the moment. But penalties are probably what ruin everyone's opportunities at the moment. So Glenora giving away 2 penalties with Howick 1 at this stage. So easy outs of their own half.
Anthony Fuimono, another of the big returns for the Howick Hornets. He's been out injured for the last few weeks. It's just pure size really out wide and can find his way to the try line as well. So Voeti Bao gets driven back, goes Friend to Williams. Williams spinning in the tackle. Look how hard he is to bring down Clayton Williams. He's got 4 defenders on him. Eventually they get into ground, but it's still a quick play of the ball. Jethro Friend looks out and links with Tony Tuia. Nice 1-2 punch to have in your arsenal. Tuia to Williams. 30 out from the line now. It goes to Prendergast. They're going to attack down the left-hand side. Kevin will kick in behind and find touch. And really, that's a very good set from the Howick Hornets, who are more than holding their own in the middle so far, Troy.
Yeah, I think you rightly said. Got a good kick away there. Sort of turned the pack around. And just on the energy side of things, it looks like it's Howick Hornets got all the momentum at this stage. So get ready to pack in here. And getting a couple of quick adverts there and amongst the play. Hopefully our Teco guys will be able to sort that out. And we go to crowd shot. Good support in here today, and I'd like to welcome in Daryl, big hard Howick Hornet supporter out there watching live. As are a lot of the fans today, and all the action replays will be up on the ARL TV YouTube channel.
So as the Bears now work it out from inside their 10, Williams rushes them, and they do well to keep it ticking over. Trent Bishop's warming up on the sideline. Won't be long until we see him introduced. Spell one of the big men. Chase Bernard. Tuore. Directing traffic, comes back to the middle.
All the Facebook fan followers, join us now on the YouTube live stream channel and get to there through aucklandleague.co.nz.
24 to play, and it's gone fairly quickly, the opening exchanges. Hornets with that early strike, and this will help. A penalty now to march them out of their own end. Jordan Papa through the regular season. It was Howick who had the running on Glenora. They won in round 3, 24-14, and then had a big win later in the season as well to defend the Root Rooster. This one with back-to-back losses, though, unfamiliar territory for them this year in what has otherwise been a dominant season, really, and their best season since they won the Fox in 2011. Here's Brandon Lee, the super impressive lock forward. Can play anywhere on the park, really, and has done so for them this year. As Papa goes to the line, it pops a beautiful offload to Vueti Bao. He's taken down 3 metres short. Chance on here as the Hornets look to double their advantage. This is Friend. Jumps out and goes to Williams, who burrows low. That's great defence from the Glenora Bears. Friend swings it up the back. Goes to Papa. Papa holds it up. Fuimono pops it out the back to Albrecht. They'll have to come back infield here if they're going to keep this play alive, and they're not able to do so. Brilliant defence from the Glenora Bears. Clayton Williams, for all money, was over the line, Troy.
Well, it must have been a great blade of grass that separated him from being a try, and the referee was Johnny on the spot. He was right there as we see Glenora now on the grind, trying to get it outside their 10.
Kenneth Finotti, another of the Kelston boys graduates in this setup. It's good to see Glenora building on, I guess, the success of what has really been a nice little period of dominance for Kelston over the last couple of years. It was a different story this year as they rebuilt the loss of Conrad Tour and Karia Ioka. They're 2 real key men. But, still plenty of talent there, and coached by John O'Paul this year as well. The Bay Roscoe mentor is Jordan Tuore. Goes long between Albrecht and Kevin, and Albrecht just about got a hand to that one, which would have been a disaster. Cleans it up and brings the football back.
Well, the Howick boys still getting back on side. We're looking for somebody to take some workload here.
Told to go back. Play it again. Really like the way Jordan Tuore is managing this game so far. He's had a couple of nice kicks, and watch for him to take on that line as well, which he's hinted at a couple of times. That right edge of his is deadly. It's got Vasu Vulangi down there as well, who's an absolute gun and was really the main difference last week against the Northcote Tigers. Scored a great try. Jethro Friend jumps out. Engages really Buchanan along with Taumata. Brandon Lee to Wilson. Wilson has taken the ground 5 short of halfway. Big looping ball out the back now. They get to their kick eventually. It's going to sit up for an age, and Finotti takes that one, and it's advantage Glenora on that set because the kick was inferior to what Jordan Tuore produced on the last play. As the Glenora Bears get back into shape now, they charge forward and the backline starts to get involved. 21 minutes to play here, and a nice little contest starting to build here at Mount Smart number 2. Just looking down pitch side, there's a little ambulance that's come over for Karia Ioka as well, so maybe they're going to try and get him strapped up and get him back out there. It did look like the shoulder, which was the issue. We'll keep an eye on that for you. In the meantime, back through the middle, Riulu Buchanan, the Porirua Vikings junior. One addition he's been to the Auckland comp the last few years. Tuore to Chase Bernard. Bernard stays standing, pops the offload. Vasu Vulangi, options on the right now. Vasu Vulangi pops a worldly offload, but it's gone to ground and it all breaks down. But just for a second, that deadly right edge got clicking, and if the pass is just a centimetre the other way, it's a try there for the Glenora Bears, and Jordan Tuore once again showing himself down that side.
Yeah, it wasn't too far away from that, actually sticking to the hand, and they certainly showed that they can create a wee bit of an opportunity out there on their right-hand edge. Hats off to Howick, though. They managed to scramble good enough as we wait for the scrum to pack in. Quick shot of all the fans down here today at Mount Smart number 2.
If we go to TJ Ashford, TJ probably a little similar to the first game where we saw Papakura favour their left edge of the Glenora Bears, look very determined to stick to that right today.
Yeah, I definitely think that's probably where Glenora's opportunities are going to come in this game. I like the look of that right-hand side second row. I suppose Jordan's got a bit of a job there to try and isolate that third-man defender, so we'll see how he goes in the last 20 minutes here.
So Vueti Bao rucks the ball forward under the weight of Taumata and Piwhairangi Charlie. Here's Trent Bishop on for his first stint.
He'll certainly change the dynamics of the game in the middle, won't he, Corey?
Will he ever? And starts with a quick play of the ball, and then Brandon Lee left it behind. And Howick Hornets cough up their first error of the match. Gone 21 minutes or so without making an error, and Brandon Lee puts that one down that time. And Troy, I think, just probably had a look up and saw the defensive line and just took his eye off the student.
Absolutely, and I think he'd be really appreciative that we've said that it was Brandon who coughed up the first error. Thanks for that one, TJ. And we're just getting a wee bit of an update on the cardio situation. Can you see him? Oh, he's in a splint. Okay.
That'll be the end of Karia Ioka's day. Put into a splint now, and that makes you wonder if there's a fracture or a break in there, rather than anything to do with the shoulder. We'll have a look to see if we can get an update at half-time, but in the meantime, his Bears are on the attack and doing their best to push on without him. Been a fair effort from Karia Ioka to play lock forward this year at Fox level. He was a half in college rugby league, and he's not the biggest player out there. Vasu Valangi gets turned back in by Jordan Torde. This is now Tippins, who's got Pawharangi Charlie and Bernard set to his left, and Bernard plays at the line. 15 to travel now for the Glenora Bears, looking to hit back after Howick struck early. The kick is battered down by Howick. This should be 6 again and will be. Really Buchanan taking the ground. Real pressure on Howick now. Glenora clear the ruck, come back centre field. Bernard will take a settler, working their way back towards the middle of the park, and dare I say it, that right edge where Jordan Torde will be beavering away, organising things. Torde shows it in one hand and then takes on the line. Burrowing effort from down low, and James Taumata! Just like that, James Taumata off a nice little run from Jordan Torde, gets the ball, looks up, and just burrows hard and low. Scores next to the uprights. We should have a locked-up ball game with 17 to go in the first half.
As we wait for the SAS Sporting replay here, look, this is really a power play. As we catch up to the play from here, really saw it and got down low and just drove hard, had to carry a defender across to make that 4 points happen, and makes it easy for the kick at goal. And just having a look at the, well, that's gone. You see the body language on the Howick Hornets there on that bit? There's, you know.
Well, I think more than anything, that'd be frustration, isn't it? You defend your line like that, and all the shape that Glenora's thrown at you, and then you give one away at dummy half there. But as TJ quite rightly pointed out, nice quick play of the ball from Jordan Torde, TJ, and while we had a feeling it was going to go down that side of the field, contributes a different way, but nicely executed in the end by the Bears.
Yeah, it was. Jordan obviously playing some eyes-up footy there, saw some space and attacked it. But the last 5 minutes, Glenora's actually pitched a tent down here in the half of Howick Hornets, and obviously a fair bit of time out and good ball has resulted in some points there. So Howick probably just have to regroup, not panic too much, and try and play at the right end of the field, I think.
The kick is good, and we're locked up at 6 points apiece, 15 and a half to play here at Mount Smart number 2. If you're just tuning in, you're joining us for the major semi-final in the SAS Fox Memorial Premiership, and earlier today we saw the Papakura Sea Eagles book their spot in the grand final with a commanding performance and victory over the Bay Roskill Vikings. So it will be Papakura versus Te Aratu in the second tier, the Crown Lift Trucks Fox Championship. But in terms of the first division, it's anyone's guess. Whairangi Charlie brings it back. Scott Jones onto the field now for his first run for the Hornets. Goal kicking prop forward or wide second rower. He's fairly versatile. Of course, was in the Warriors system for a long time before heading over to Australia. Goes Tuare to Vasu Volangi, who cops a little bit of a high shot from Royden Gillett. Taumata brings the pull straight back and between Friend and Williams. Quick play of the ball from Taumata, and now Zach Tippins gets out and has a little bit of a run, and they're 40 metres out from the line now, Glenora. Last play coming up, and Tippins, well, perhaps was looking for the penalty, not going to get one this time, and Tuare kicks, it's charged down, this should be play on, and Royden Gillett.
Off the fingertips.
I think it would have been play on until then. It was charged down rather than knocked on initially. But now Glenora get another 6. Trent Bishop works over the top. He needs to be mindful there of the second effort. Pawhairangi Charlie works the ball forward. Tippins jumps out, goes to Bernard. Bernard gets met head on by Bishop. Great first up contact from Trent that time. And the Bears 20 metres out and a chance to take the lead after trailing for the first 10 minutes here. Torde to Vasu Volangi, and Solomon hits it with pace. Vasu Volangi in under the sticks. It's that deadly combination once again, the 1-2 punch of Torde and Vasu Volangi. And the Bears are in again. They lead for the first time in this match with 13 and a half to play in the first half. Beautiful stuff, and it finishes with the big man finishing under the posts. A spectacular finish to go, Troy. That'll get a thrashing on the replay.
Oh, absolutely. As we watch the SAS Sporting replay here, and how clean was that? Really nice drop on the inside, nice step, and basically went through untouched, and the finger was already up before the fantastic dive in for 4 points, right beneath the black dot.
And they just got Clayton Williams committed there, and then by the time it came to the back into the inside, the little half gap was there, and that's all Vasu Volangi needed. So all of a sudden, it's a different chat going on in the huddle here. TJ Ashford, the Howick Hornets, 5 minutes ago they were in front, and now will be pretty disappointed with the last couple of sets.
Yeah, I still don't think it's panic signs at the moment, but Glenora seemed to roll through them quite easy on that last set. I think they made about 70 metres off the kickoff, so that'll probably be an alarming stat there. They've probably got to try and just take this a set at a time to try and get back into the game. They've been starved of position, so yeah, a good defensive set here will put them back on track, so see how they go.
Mosia Seta on target with the conversion, and it is now the Bears who lead 12 points to 6. Suape lines it up. Swerve and did his best to pick out one of the smaller bodies in the line. The smaller body happened to be Jethro Friend, who's a fair defender. Good run back from Kavaleku. Now Tomata, and look at James Tomata. He's really got some venom in the carries today. Tippins to Suape, who says, I'll have another one, thank you very much. Kavaleku with a carry up over halfway. Torde to Vasu Volangi, contained on the 40 this time. Alarm bells will be going off every time the ball goes down that side of the field right now. Here's Pawhairangi Charlie, who will take a settler into the middle of the park. He's taken down eventually by Trent Bishop around the legs, and now last play coming up for the Glenora Bears. Yoka looks up, has to think on his feet, chips over the top, Zion regathers and now looks for a pop and offload out the back, and there's numbers on the right edge, although surely that's gone forward. That's the way McMillan has ruled it as well, but a nice little touch there from Zion Yoka, who probably hasn't been that heavily involved so far. Most of the ball has fallen to Jordan Torde, but that time Troy almost pulled it off with the little chip and chase.
Heart in the mouth stuff there, and rightly. Howick Hornets managed to get the ball back. There's a bit of a chat going on.
Yeah, and we've got time off as well, so just wait and see what the situation is here. That's Nick Wilson, who has been the walking wounded, as you mentioned, for the best part of a couple of months now, and that's not good. He's making his way from the field, Nick Wilson. Yep. And on for a run is Jazz Nahumain, more than capable replacement. He's had a very good year, has Nahumain. The Hornets now work it out via Scott Jones. Bishop. It's out of the first one. The Glenora line speed's very good. It's up quickly. Reece Charlie. Friend to Papa, and Papa back to Voiti Bau. Some of the back row talent on display today. Top shelf stuff. Two of them involved in that one, really, Buchanan and Vueti Bell. Here's Reece Charlie bumping
Good
the ball
offload.
forward, pops an offload, and Jesse Kevin
Shot.
then to Scott Jones, and Scott Jones goes through, and another offload. It's hot potato stuff, and now perhaps just a little half gap developing down the right for Johnny Vueti Bell, but it's well closed in the end by Taumata. Fuimono goes to Jordan Papa, who unleashes a rocket into the air. Chase is very good from the Hornets, and they force an error from Finauti. A wonderful set from Howick. They force an error and now put themselves back in the conversation down this end of the park. It was offload happy for a little bit there, Troy, and really that's when the Howick Hornets look at their best, when they're creating that second phase.
Yeah, I think I tend to agree with you. And when they do start throwing the ball around, they've got some fabulous football, playing forwards there that can certainly, force opportunities. And good follow-up there with defensive line activity. Just seeing who the reshuffle is as they're getting ready to pack in, because they're having to move a few deck chairs, aren't they, Howick? Here we go.
So Friend retrieves from the back, and it goes Bishop to Kevin, and Kevin slices through them. Jesse Kevin will go very close.
He's there.
Jesse Kevin will score. We wait for confirmation. A second try for the Hornets. A nicely worked move, I should say, off the back of the scrum, and it finishes with Jesse Kevin carving through. He actually had numbers on his outside. I think he could have gone there if he needed to, but a nice run from the fullback and hits back for the Hornets.
So we have a look at the SAS Sporting replay here, and there was a wee bit of a delay as they were getting into the scrum because they looked like they'd shifted a couple of bodies around, and here's a big body in the back line. Just a nice little offload there, held that up and split in behind the defence there. And as Corey rightly said, could have gone wide maybe earlier, but didn't need to. 4 points down, smashing try.
Nicely constructed that time, TJ. We saw Royden Gillett come in the other way as a bit of a decoy there and worked to perfection in the end.
Yeah, I thought the set before that, Howick did quite well. Glenora's had quite a compressed defensive line this whole first half, so that little bit of second phase play with those offloads there, spreading the defensive line a little bit. I think if Howick's got any opportunity to try and win this, they've got to probably test their arm a little bit and throw a few of those just to get their defensive line off guard a little bit. But well set up there. I thought having Trent Bishop in the back line was quite outstanding.
Absolutely.
He's a big body, so he probably committed an extra number on defence as well. So helped free up that space on the outside for that outside man.
So we wait the conversion, and it will be Jesse Kevin to attempt it again. That is one thing about this Howick Hornets forward pack. They're not the biggest forward pack, but quite a number of ball players in there,
Absolutely.
isn't there? And,
Yeah.
you look at Trent Bishop, who can ball play with the best of them in terms of forwards. Tony Tuia, who can do it as well. Clayton Williams is a bit more old school, but Reece Charlie, there's another one. So they do have that in them. As Kevin waits to hit this one, and it's a big kick. 6 minutes out
Did
from
well.
half-time, and off the uprights. It looked good off the boot, but it will remain the Glenora Bears 12, Howick Hornets 10, and a nice reply after a rough 10 or 10 minutes probably, Troy, where they concede 2 tries.
Yeah, well, it was well constructed, orthodox type try, throwing the ball around, keeping them second guessing. And then as TJ rightly said, I think that's probably going to be one of their weapons that they'll need to unload today, is to have that second phase play going, and keep the ball alive. And they've got the playing roster to do it.
So Yucca high off the boot, it's fielded in, and Trent Bishop brings it back.
Look at the defence now, taking them right back.
Yeah, brings it back and then gets driven back. Good stuff from Glenora. Bishop hints at a penalty. Reece Charlie, Zach Tippins stopped him in his tracks.
By Kivaleka in the background. Both barrels, boom, boom.
Papa kicks long,
Great catch.
back to retrieve and then look up, and it was just as well he got to ground then. A little bit of trouble, Mossier said it. Lanauti now jumps out. Howick Hornets swarming in defence. Backline doing all the work so far in this set for Glenora. That will change at the hands of Swape. Tippins looks up, runs the ball. Bishop around the legs, just swinging out the back now to Torde, and Torde will go high off the boot. A tester for Kevin and Albrecht. Kevin takes it with ease, but is then set upon by very good kick chase. Oh, Foimaono had to bring that one in one-handed. That was heart in the mouth stuff there for Sean Clark, I'm sure.
Little settler there. Needed to get some work done.
Forward pass, the call. Smiles for Glenora. Howick aren't happy about it, understandably. So the Bears prepare to go again. They had easily the best attack through the regular season, the Glenora Bears. They smashed everyone in terms of points scored.
Well, the first half has certainly ticked by at a furious rate with about 3.5 minutes to go, 3 minutes 40. Here come the Bears again on attack.
Paulie taking the ground by his opposite number. Now Aseta. Very good year, Mossy Aseta. He scored a number of tries. Along with Fanorti. Alex Pio as well. Joseph Narlam goes right to Torde, who shows and then hands off and links with his fullback Fanorti. Fight for extra yardage. They're 12 short of the line now, the Glenora Bears. 3 to play in the half, and they're looking to stretch their lead going into the break. Narlam takes a gutsy little run out of dummy half. Wants a quick play of the ball and gets one. Tippins goes back door. Torde with the footwork. Torde still dancing, Jordan Torde. But set upon. No, he's not. Oh, how did he get out of that? Short is the call.
Wow.
But that was like he transported there. He was in a 3-man tackle. Scott Jones is down in back play. This is a worry for Howick. We'll get to a play of the ball anyway, and Royden Gillett will carry out off his own line. But that was remarkable from Jordan Torde, who is in near career best form, I dare say. Bishop. Trent Bishop, lovely carry from Trent Bishop. The little change of direction at the line just throws the defence off. And he's got Howick humming all of a sudden. On the left they come. This is
Still went off
Nahu
late
May.
as.
Ball is cleaned up by Jethro Friend, who's then set upon by his opposite number, Tippins. They're 5 short of halfway here, the Hornets. Bishop, no swerve this time, just bumps the ball forward. Ground on halfway. Last play coming up now for Howick. Swings out to Prendergast, and Prendergast decides to run it. Well, somehow gets out of it, gets an offload away, and then Friend will kick. Now, was that charge down, and is it 6 again? Yes, it is. 6 more coming up now for the Hornets. Well, more luck than anything that they got out of that one. I'm not sure that was the best play they took, but back on the football now as Charlie goes to Foimaono, who offloads off the ground. Play on is called by referee McMillan, and Vueti Bell centralises. The Hornets now looking to perhaps retake the lead before half-time. Scott Jones, who's shaken off that earlier knock. Back from a long time spent in Australia. Papa goes to the line. There was a kick in behind. Vueti Bell breathing down the neck of Mossy Aseta, who does really well to get out there, and I think, well...
Yeah, they pushed him back in play. They have. And they fell awkwardly too, you know, as he went down on the ground there. Big chase coming through and got a wee bit of weight on there.
So time off while we deal with that. This was a really unfortunate incident. He was on the ground basically fairly defenceless. It's nothing cynical in it, but certainly it's rocked the neck and shoulder region there of Mossy Aseta. It was one of those calls that could have gone either way, saying that the tackle was complete before he was put back. So we'll have a fairly long stoppage here, I would think, while we deal with this injury. And from a stats point of view, TJ, well, certainly evenly matched on the scoreboard. How's it looking in terms of the numbers?
Yeah, completion rate's actually dead set even, mate. They're both completing at 83% at the moment. So, penalties are probably the downfall for Glenora at the way, giving away 3-1 at the moment. So it's probably giving Howick a little bit of easy yardage coming out of their own end goal, to be honest.
So good crowd in here today at Mount Smart number 2, and we'll maybe look to get some shots of that. Everyone out enjoying the finals action today. It's been a big month with a number of junior finals played as well. And through the gates thick and fast as we see Mossy Aseta back up to his feet. So that's a very, very good sign. It's never good when you see the physio down there working on the neck, but back up to the feet to play out the final 40 seconds or so of this first half. You'd think if you're the Bears here, you just complete the sets and get to the sheds, although it'll be a dropout, my apologies. So Kevin retrieves and goes to Jones. 2 points the gap. Friend to Charlie. Prendergast, looping ball over the top. Royden Gillett with a little bit of separation, spins and looks to power through, but is taken down under a 3-man tackle involving Paulie and Tuore. Prendergast looking for a big man, instead goes to Papa, who stands up the first one, but then it gets wrestled to ground by Daniel Really Buchanan.
I'll get one more away here.
Siren goes in the back play. Charlie plays Bishop short at the line. Bishop shakes out of it. Still going now, Trent Bishop. Benji pass out the back. They kick him behind. It's gonna, wow, just about hold up there, but will flow dead, and it will be the Glenora Bears who head into the sheds, leading 12 points to 10 over the Howick Hornets. A couple of minutes break for us before we resume with the second half action from Mount Smart Stadium number 2. Welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen. The halftime huddles going on there. Ross Ueli barking the orders for the Glenora Bears and a few voices for the Howick Hornets. Sean Clark leading the charge, but Tony Tuia right in there as well. And of course there are a number of really experienced players in that Howick side who will know what to do here. And I hate to go back to this kind of history, but the Howick Hornets, 2 years in a row, heartbreaking exits in the final few minutes in this game. You just wonder if that's weighing on anyone's mind as they break from this huddle for the final 40 minutes of the major semi-final.
Well, if it is playing on their mind, it may well be something that will drive them to perform harder, run harder, tackle harder, because, heartache 2 years back-to-back is something that you want to, disconnect from. That said, Glenora aren't going to go quietly, and look at the scoreline. Only one missed conversion separates them with 40 minutes to go, and at the end of this time, somebody is going home.
And if we're talking about history, the Glenora Bears, well, they've made a habit of going to the grand final. And just like winning can be, losing can become a habit, winning can as well. And they have a culture of success here, this Glenora Bears team. And not just the guys who have experienced success with the Bears, but also guys who have won Foxes at other clubs and experienced success there. So they are well positioned as well. It's going to be a brilliant final 40 minutes. And just wait for the Howick Hornets now as Sean Clark breaks from their huddle and they head off. Howick Hornets will have the use of the wind in the second half, and TJ, well, we saw it was a big factor in the first game. You expect that'll be similar in this match, and it's probably worth a few points, that breeze.
Yeah, I'd be quite happy if I was Howick at the moment. So playing into the breeze, only behind by 2 points. They've got a good kicker in Jordan Papa, so he might be able to pin Glenora back down inside their 20 for most of this game, and that'll probably be the instructions from Sean, obviously. Complete high, kick down deep, and trust our processes on defence.
All right, ready to go. Back into it. It'll be Zion Iorka kicking down towards the number 1 end to get us back underway at Mount Smart number 2. Millen blows the whistle, and we're into it. Prendergast brings it in, and we'll hand off to Scott Jones, who had a busy first half. Came on at about the 20-minute mark and played the second half of the first half, if that's how you want to put it. Reece Charlie as well, who's looked likely. Nahumain plays the ball, goes to Bishop. Charlie taken down inside attacking territory. Good first set from the Howick Hornets here as Jones rumbles them. Another 10, 15 downfield. Jethro Friend goes to Papa. Papa unleashes one that'll have snow on it by the time it comes down. No one wants a bar of it. It's allowed to bounce and then gets spilled by Fenoti. Oh, that's his second one of the game. In fact, it's Mosi Aceta who's put it down. My apologies to Mr. Kenneth Fenoti. Pinning that one on him. But that was incredible. That was the highest kick we've seen today. TJ just touched on it before. Jordan Papa's kicking game is his strength. He's got a heck of a boot on him. So scrum packs down now. An ideal chance for Howick to make a positive start to the second half as they did the first. It goes Friend to Papa, and Papa looks to shake out of the tackle of Iorka. Won't go anywhere that time. 12 out from the line now. Vueti Bao, who came so close to scoring in the first half. Jones.
Shot.
Goes low but gets spun onto his back by the Glenora goal line defence. Way out the back it goes to Prendergast, then to Nahumain. The Glenora line standing up to everything Howick are throwing at them right now. Prendergast dancing and then picked off, and just for a second I thought we may be away down the other end. This will be a knock-on. And it will be against the Glenora Bears, so they'll get 6 more to play with here. And Troy, they probably dodged a bit of a bullet there.
Absolutely.
Because if that sticks, I think Glenora are way down the other end.
Great scramble on the defence, though. How fantastic effort. And there was a number of opportunities coming up there. Nice little turn back inside, but they were chasing out from inside out, and they managed to nail that attacker. Just having a look at the scrum again. Is there another set play on here?
Papa is the first receiver, then goes to Bishop, and Bishop, well, spins out of it. Had Fuimono steaming onto the ball at 100 miles an hour. And Bishop will be taken down smack bam in front of the SAS uprights. Playmakers set either side. It will go the direction of Papa, who holds it up and plays in Kevin. Probably just didn't have the fluidness that needed that time, the backline movement. Short. Fuimono, the bulldozer's over! Anthony Fuimono. We saw him power through the line a couple of plays earlier. Didn't get the ball on that occasion. That time he got it. Made no mistake, up over the defence, and he puts the Howick Hornets back in front.
We wait for the SAS Action Sport replay, and going that quick. Lost our cameraman at that ground level. Here we go, waiting for the play the ball. Big wrestle on here, trying to slow it down. Always good with Jethro Friend in there, directing traffic, and really just hit him on the fly. Here we go. Thanks very much, 4 points. So they've set tone and tenor. Wait for the kick to come.
There's a great shot there of Jethro Friend's facial expressions. He's playing poker out there, really, isn't he? There's no difference in Jethro's demeanour, whether they're up by 50 or down by 50, and you can see here, the excitement building, no doubt, knowing what was on the offer end, but just cool as anything. There was no movement of the eyes. You can see there he's pretty happy with it. But a nice pass laid on as well by Jethro Friend. So Scott Jones now to attempt the conversion as Trent Bishop comes from the field for a break. A chance to make this a 4-point lead once again. Flags are up and the Howick Hornets lead 16 points to 12. 35 minutes to play in the first half, in the second half I should say, here at Mount Smart number 2.
Yeah, I thought Howick did a really good job in playing at the right end of the field there, Corey. So Jethro obviously played some eyes up footy there and isolated a slow A defender. I think it was number 4 for Glenora, not getting back urgent enough. So Jethro took the right decision there, and they scored some points from it. So well done to Jethro.
So the roller coaster continues, and at this particular point, it's the Hornets sitting on the lead, but you just get the feeling that this one's going to go down to the last few minutes of the season, as these major semi-finals usually do. So Yoka gets us back underway with a high one, which is going to fall awkwardly,
Great
but
catch.
well reeled in by, I think that's Nahu Main. So with Bishop off the field, fresh legs on for the Howick Hornets, and that will be Clayton Williams on for his second stint. Very effective in his first, and his first carry of the second's a good one as well. Look at that.
Look at that.
Driving the legs. Although Glenora do well to spin him onto his back and slow down that play the ball of his. It goes Friend then to Charlie, and Reece Charlie lines up and charges back through the middle. Tackle of Nar Lam and Tippins. Looks like Tippins may be playing lock forward with Nar Lam on the field as well. Of course, someone needs to take up the minutes by Karia Yoka, who left the game after just a few minutes. Gillett to Prendergast to Papa, and Papa just dinks the kick over the top this time, and that will go well and truly dead. And that's really the first really poor kick we've seen at the end of a set for a long time in this one, and it will give the Bears the chance to come out to the 20 and build something once again after going down just a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah. Well, should better share that one then, Corey. I'm just saying, probably the wind picked that up, eh? Carried it through to the dead ball area. Glenora now trying to grind out from inside the 30.
Wairangi Charlie, contained, 5 short of halfway. The Glenora Bears team on a winning streak the last 5 games, and ironically it was the Howick Hornets who were the last to beat them. As Vasu Valangi then hands off to Paulie. Paulie's still on his feet and still fighting. Ruben Gillett hands around the jersey. This is a good set from the Glenora Bears. Working their way downfield, and then Chaz Brown just for a second. Narlam weaving his way out of dummy half. He wanted an offload there and gets a penalty instead, which is a much better result for his team and a chance now to set up camp down here for the Glenora Bears. They get straight back into it, and a short ball at the line, which is well read by the Hornets, but Zion Yoka's in some pain here. This isn't good. Concern being shown straight away for Zion Yoka, and I'm not sure if it was a lower leg injury or something up around the head. Voimono certainly...
Yeah, that's where he's gone to, mate.
Yeah, so it's the neck that they're working on. Vuiti Bowen to share his best wishes as well. So another injury stoppage coming up here, and this one works against the Glenora Bears, who are just starting to build a bit of momentum.
And ladies and gentlemen, up this week is the ARL Awards Wednesday, and I believe some tickets are still available to that. So if you are looking to come to the ARL Awards this evening, Wednesday is the kickoff, and to get to those, you can go on the website www.aucklandleague.co.nz.
Back up to his feet now, Zion Yoka, which is good to see. Bernard with the first carry after that stoppage. Sort of before the Glenora Bears were starting to build some momentum there, and that stoppage probably favours the Howick Hornets. Pushed right up against their line here. Tippins to Ture to Vasu Volangi. You've heard that sentence before. Blue jerseys arriving from everywhere to contain him. Fanoti now the dummy half, comes back towards the middle of the park. This is Chaz Brown.
Is that bobbled? Yeah, it's gone to ground.
So an error there. Chaz Brown says it was stripped. Referee McMillan disagrees. So scrum now to pack down for the Howick Hornets. Chaz Brown, he had a good year last year. Was actually in the Fox Memorial Team of the Year as a centre. Coming off the bench today as a forward. Spent a long time at Mount Albert before coming across to the Glenora Bears. It's handy to have those guys who can cover a couple of different spots in your backline, of course, as Prendergast now feeds the scrum and goes to Kevin. With Foimono on his shoulder. Jordan Papa to Johnny Vuiti Bell. Had a fair bit of football with the Vodafone Warriors Cup side, Johnny, as has this man, Clayton Williams. Line speeds up quickly though, and they're there in numbers, Glenora. Vasu Valangi and Tippins inflicting the damage that time. Last play coming up now. Friend goes out the back. Links with Papa, who unleashes another long kick downfield. 40-20 Clay. Now that was surely knocked on.
No.
Well, there's a knock on there in the end anyway, so this will be a Howick Hornets ball. Well, he had been tempting that one in the first half, and with the help of the wind, Jordan Papa unleashes what would have been a 40-20 had it not been knocked on. The end result is just as good, and now the Hornets come back onto the attack, and it's off the kicking game of their halfback. And it's that kind of game where you just do get the feeling that the finish to sets is going to make such a big difference.
Well, how important was that play? You know, they're going to feed off that now, and they'll want to make sure they capitalise on it. Be interesting to see again when they move this set play. They've been they've been pretty lethal from this sort of area.
Royden Gillett is set deeper than everyone else, so we wait to see as they come out towards the right edge. It goes Papa to Kevin, and Kevin will take the tackle on this occasion. The Hornets march forward, 20 metres to travel and a chance to stretch this 4-point lead. Vueti Bao, the Fijian international. Brandon Lee, the man who opened the try scoring after just a few minutes. Right in front of the SAS uprights now. It goes Friend to Prendergast. Prendergast, a little show and a little go, and looks to duck under, but they weren't falling for it that time, the Glenora Bears. Chaz Brown organising the defensive line. A flat ball to Nahu Main. But the Bears get there in numbers. It's 3 or 4, 5 in there in the end. Last play coming up now. Friend kicks straight from the bottom of the ruck. Well, I haven't seen that one before. That was an interesting little play. Maybe...
He's looking for a little grubber through.
Yeah.
Great thinking. Then they put him back into the end goal. Great defence.
Brilliant stuff from Howick.
Now that whole movement from the little kick forward to that end goal, just brilliant to watch, and has put the Bears at 6s and 7s, and they get the ball back. Even some of the crowd liked that one. Way to change things up.
Yeah, we go back to the kick from Papa, which earns them another use of the ball, and it's just all these little things, isn't it, that add up over a game. We see Vasu Valangi down right now getting a little bit of attention. He's one player Glenora cannot afford to lose. There's 5'8", probably fairly worried about the loss of Vasu Valangi as well, because that is a big part of their game plan today, what they're doing down that side. There's a St. John member on the field as well. Go back to that Jethro Friend play. I've watched a fair bit of footy in my life, but I'm just not sure I've seen that before. Or maybe go to TJ on that one. You like it, you love it, you hate it?
Yeah, no, it was a bit of fresh ingenuity there by Jethro, but they're playing at the right end of the field, man. You know, they'll starve Glenora the ball in the second half, so I think looking at my stat sheet, they've had 3 opportunities and they've dropped 2 of them, Glenora. So probably not the start that they wanted in the second half, especially going against the win. But yeah, Howick's been in very good touch in the second half, so we'll see if they can carry that on.
So in the background there is a disaster unfolding for Glenora. Vasu Valangi is off the field. It looks like his day is done. So a key player gone for the Bears, and a set of 6 they're about to defend up against their goal line. Let's have a think about the interchanges as well, which are going to come under pressure here. There's been a number of injuries. Short drop out, and ball comes loose. Genius. They've got it back. That's a big play. You just got the feeling they might not hold on that set, and instead they turn it over, and now the Howick Hornets look to drive them back and keep them down this end of the field. That's Chaz Brown with the carry. Suape Kavaleku chopped down low by Brandon Lee. That's a brave tackle from Brandon Lee. Looping ball out, and they're going to spread it now. Zaoni Yoka. Still stuck inside their 20 here, the Bears. Nah Lamb belted by Scott Jones, who is in a bad way now. Real battle out there. Tuore kicks, but it catches the wind and it's out on the full.
Yeah, just picking up on what you said, Corey, you've got to have to wonder how important the interchanges are going to be now, as we see some of the big mobile units coming back onto the field for the Howick Hornets. As TJ rightly said, Tony Tui is looking to get a boarding pass to come back in. It looks like Kebaleku's come back on, and we've got another break in play here.
Yeah, Scott Jones has picked up a knock here. Tony Tui is preparing to come back onto the field, so they're going to make the change regardless here. And Jones makes his way from the sideline. But just playing into this wind right now, if you're struggling to get out of your own end, not even really the chance to rescue it with a good kick, because that wind is just preventing any length on the kick at all.
Yeah.
The other end, it's the complete opposite story.
I think they played into Glenora's hands too. You know, they went to kick, it went high, and it actually blew back towards their players. So Howick now looking to mount more pressure.
Clayton Williams with a ferocious carry is taken down 10 out from the line. Friend. Papa shakes out of one. It's a speculator, and that probably was not the pass that they needed there, the Howick Hornets, and now let off a whole lot of pressure for the Glenora Bears. There's a knock on here. Now, has advantage been taken? No, it has not. This will be a Bears ball.
Well, you just can't help feel they got the get out of jail card on that one. Good crowd here today. I'm suspecting half these people would want to be coming back here next week. Well, to number 1 at least. Mount Smart, number 1.
Yeah, don't come back here on Friday. There'll be no one around. We wait for the Bears to
We'd
pack
be down here getting ready for the game on the Saturday. Training.
Back into it now, go Glenora. 24 and a half to play. A 4-point gap to reverse. There's more points in this game yet, you get the feeling. The big one here for Howick is don't give up a penalty, because they're restricting Glenora very nicely right now. And you know the wind's going to help you come last play. Here's Chase Bernard looking to change things. Gets an offload away to Kenneth Finauti. Tuia sort of falls on him in the end. Quick play of the ball now, and on the back of it, Zach Tippins punishes them. Pops an offload then to Kavaleku, who goes, fends, and runs it straight back at them. Now, Scott Jones has ended up staying on the field here, so they've interchanged Tuia for someone else. Tippins. Yorker brings in Riuli Buchanan. Really good wide running back rower, Daniel Riuli Buchanan, represented Auckland last year. Another one that's been used by the Warriors at times. A high kick off the boot and a tester. Someone taken down and back play. In fact, it's referee McMillan. Everyone back up to their feet, and the Howick Hornets look to bring the ball back. I was just about to say, is there a penalty in the making here? It turns out the man that awards the penalties was the one taken out. Connor Morris now rucks the ball forward. Line speed from the Bears. Simon Luafalialo, someone we haven't seen too much of so far in this game, but if he gets a bit of space, he can inflict some damage, the former Marist man. So Albrecht, a slow play the ball by the end of it, comes back to the middle and change of direction just for a second. Thought he might evade Zach Tippins. Goes to Papa. Unleashes another long one, which is well weighted, and Finauti brings it in just inside the touchline.
He sidestepped straight into the turf there. Just stumbled a wee bit.
Mosia Serra. Real game of chess developing here. Your move next, Glenora. Pau with a nice little bit of footwork. Kavaleku. There'll be no footwork this time. Straight and hard. Gets to his feet for a quick play of the ball. Tippins gets on the end of it now to Tuade. Tuade comes back to the middle. Chase Bernard.
Good strong carry there. 3 defenders on him.
Good set from the Bears. Last play coming up, and they've got playmakers set either side of the ruck. It'll go to Yorker, who plays on. The ball goes to ground. Howick have got numbers there and will just survive and clean that one up, although Glenora force them back in goal. Great stuff from the Bears. It was an awkward old kick to reel in for Jesse Kevin, and the Bears were straight up on him. They drive him in goal. Back-to-back sets coming up. We'll go to TJ for a stats update.
Yeah, I think Glenora's actually won the battle of this last 5 minutes here. They've worked really hard to get themselves back in the game. After starting the second half quite slowly, they've managed to go 3 back-to-back sets with completed sets. So they've fought really, really well here. I think Howick are actually holding on a little bit, so we'll see how this next set plays out for Glenora.
So a big set coming up in the context of the game as the Hornets look to hold on. And it's a scrappy one, which is surprising given some of the length they've been finding, although it still ends up going 50 metres by the time it's bounced. Paulie. Naughty. Vasu Valangi is on a stretcher out the back, so it does indeed look like his day is done. He's coming back towards the bench. Here's Kavaleku. 20 minutes to play. A thrilling contest, just bubbling away here as Foimono rushes out and Makes good contact. I think that was on Phoenix Paiu. Yoka to Taumata. Taumata fighting. Tippins to Tuore. Tuore, he's lost his right side partner, but still manages to get a good kick away, but well cleaned up by Jesse Kevin, and the Howick Hornets hold on.
Yeah, good to see Nick Wilson back on the field. And as you rightly said, how is that?
That is incredible. Sorry to interrupt you there, Troy, but that was some kind of tackle from the Glenora Bears. I don't even know how many of them there were there in the end, but
that's just... The whole forward pack turned up for that one.
That's pure desire, knowing what a big moment that was, and they get there and drive him back. The poor old ball carrier was helpless. We'll get a good look here
absolutely.
On the replay. And it was Connor Morris who's just stood no chance.
1, 2, 3, 4. Just straight into the SAS upright as well. If that hadn't have been there, he would have carried him out over the dead ball.
Kavaliku winds it up now as he looks to drag the Bears right back into the
still
contest.
Bump and run.
Still going as Suape. Bernard runs it at Friend, wrapped up by Williams up top. They're trying to get him to ground. They won't do so, so it'll be a quick play of the ball here for Chase Bernard. Tuore now directing traffic.
Too strong.
Chaz Brown shaking out a 1, going again. And a penalty. Well, there's no discussion to be had here. It'll be a tap and a go.
Just about to say. Howick were desperate to hang on here. They really don't want to leak one.
And another wave of big men coming their way. Chaz Brown, the first to get it started, but that's great work from Howick, and they drive him back 3 or 4 metres. Paulie is the dummy half. Glenora look to get their shape back with a centralising run via Taumata. Wow.
What's happened there? Bobble?
So a mistake from the Bears.
That's a big play.
Bodies down and back play here. Williams working on the leg. Reckon they won't be aware of what's coming their way now as we see a push in the scrum, and it's recovered by Glenora. Oh, pigs will fly today. A push in the scrum. Unheard of. Tippins. Really Buchanan. They work the left now. Paiu. Stepping, ducking, diving. Well, if that is the moment to turn this game. A push in the scrum and the ball recovered for Glenora as Nick Wilson races out of the line and looks to put contact on. 8 metres to go here, the Bears. Spent so long down here. The best part of 10 minutes. Kavaliku charging, offloading. Taumata is then set upon by Friend, and it looks like Vueti Bao fighting for a quick play of the ball, and he gets one. It goes to Tuore. This will be a penalty to the Bears. How long can Howick hold on? Bernard, Chase Bernard will go all the way, Chase Bernard. In the end, it was that easy. Just the weight of possession. The 30-odd tackles that Howick had been forced to make down that end of the park over the last 10 minutes or so. And Chase Bernard just spots up a tired defender, runs it over, ties the ball game up, and with kick to come, Glenora should take the lead in a minute's time.
SAS Sporting Action replay. You just got to have a look at the way he planted the ball here. This was with all attitude. Coming through really strong, just smashed it down over the line. What are your thoughts on that one, TJ?
Yeah, like I said, I think Glenora's probably won the last 10 minutes of this game at the moment, and they've turned the tables a little bit and playing at the right end of the field. You and Corey mentioned earlier about the Demons of the last 2 years. Now is probably when it's going to be playing into Howick's head. Howick just need to get back on the tracks here, man. So a good defensive set here will put them in good stead for the back end of this last 15 minutes. But I don't know, man. Glenora's fans are riding them home at the moment, so it's going to shape up to be an exciting last 15 minutes.
Just going to say, if there are demons here for the Howick Hornets, they're currently chanting Glenora around the stadium. So a nice little reminder for them. A big kick coming up now, as we can see just in front of the kicker, which we'll get to in a minute. There's a Howick player down, and that looks like Anthony Foimaono to me.
Two real things that stand out for me, guys, during the course of this game is like a Carwell Park moment. The kick from dummy half down this end with Jethro Friend, that's old school. And how was the push on the scrum, getting packed in, and then the prop forward picking it up and putting pressure on. Great to see.
So Mosia Seta with the biggest kick of the season. Makes no mistake, the Bears lead by 2. It's 18-16, 14 minutes to play. Do or die time. One goes through to the grand final, the other goes home.
Well, Howick's stride back to the halfway, getting ready to reset. As TJ said, this is turning into a bit of, you can see how much wind there is. Our camera up here is starting to get a wee bit of a shiver on. Here we go. Some of this is going to be a mental part of the Howick's makeup now, and they really need to have a good, strong defensive set.
Chase Bernard, the man who scored the go-ahead try. Williams up out of the line, trying to make contact, missed, and just as well for Mosia Seta that time. Havaliku. Taumata weaving his way through the middle. He's been brilliant, James Taumata. Off the bench for this Bears team. Generating plenty of quick play of the balls as Bernard sort of for a second shaped for a kick. Pops an offload to Tuare, then goes to Tippins, and Tippins back through the middle, cops the full brunt of a Brandon Lee shoulder. They're still going here, the Glenora Bears. Taumata battling his way through. They lead by 2. Tuare goes to the line, looping ball over the top. Paulie pops it back in field. Chaz Brown gets rid of one, and then gets taken to ground. A quick play of the ball here too, Chaz, but it's the last play and a handover, but that is a brilliant set after points. They finished that one 2 metres from the try line and now get a chance to make a statement with their defence off the back of it.
And he slipped over at the dummy half. Still got the ball. Not the greatest way to start this.
Oh, that's big. That's bigger than big. 5 straight errors from the Howick Hornets. And the Bears now with a chance to make this a 2-score lead. With the way it's gone, could well be enough today. 11 minutes to play. No one's in any rush to pack down the scrum. At least the Howick Hornets. I think Glenora might be in a bit of a hurry here because the body language of the Hornets suggests they are the ones blowing a little harder right now. So we're set heavy to the left here for Glenora. Tippins jumps out. And Swape Kavaliku winds up off the back of the scrum. Tippins. Really Buchanan. Massive set for the Hornets. Can they hold on as Swape bashes his way to 2 metres from the line. Tuare. Chaz Brown, hasn't he added some impact off the bench? Quick play the ball as well, and then on the end of it, Tippins looked up, and Chase Bernard now has put that ball down. Big play from the Hornets. They force an error. Boeti Bell, I think he felt the full brunt of the contact that time. but a huge defensive set. This is a game for the ages, this one. If you love your rugby league old school, as Troy's already pointed out, a couple of moments stand out, but also just the pure grit and determination. This is why it is New Zealand's best domestic rugby league competition.
A number of these boys putting their bodies on the line now. 10 minutes of the 2019 season hangs in the balance.
Tuia on to finish the game. There's one man in particular who knows the clock is probably ticking on his time to try and win another Fox.
Oh, full stop.
What's the call? Penalty, wow.
If you wanted the wind behind you on the kick, this would be one. Probably could have chewed some more metres there, but here come the Howick Hornets. It's now or never. And that's not a bad carry.
They dominated the whole regular season, Howick. Held the Root Rooster for most of it. They were the minor premiers. Lost to Mount Albert last week and did not put their best foot forward in that one. But a chance now to make amends. A chance to return to the Fox final for the first time since 2011. Right now it is 2 points. A staunch Glenora Bears defensive line that stands between them. Prendergast will play short at the line and bring in Reece Charlie. Friend will head back centre field. Prendergast to Bishop. Bishop goes to the line and gets whacked for his troubles. 8.5 to play. 9 metres to travel now, the Hornets. Prendergast to Royden Gillett. Gillett charging hard at the line, but tackled well by Paulie down low. Hand over ball. But again, not a bad way to finish your set. 1 metre short of the opposition line, and now watch the line speed. It'll be like bees to honey.
Hornets to the nest.
Here they come. Quick play of the ball. Was the marker square? Yes, is the call. Backline getting involved now for the Glenora Bears. Everyone in the suburb of Howick getting involved right now for the Hornets. Lua Falialo backs his way into the tackle. They do well to spin him onto his back and just slow it down. That's what the Howick Hornets want to do right now. Really Buchanan. They're still inside their 20 here. Oh no, really Buchanan. Oh, that's a shame to see. He's in agony straight away and has clutched at the knee, and that's just horrible. In the heat of the battle, really Buchanan, and a fairly innocuous looking tackle, has picked up a bad knock here now, and they're calling straight for the ambulance. And unfortunately, Troy, we've seen a few of these over the last couple of weekends, and it doesn't get any easier. And you can just see there, Reece Charlie very concerned as well.
Yep, they're bringing on the mini ambulance that you called it earlier. And look, to get to here, they've had many car crashes, many battles. You know, we touched on Nick Wilson earlier. You know, wounded, injured, and a lot of teams are carrying. Injuries. Sorry, we're having a different chat up here in the background as we're chatting, and we're sorting out a power lead here for Corey. And to get to here, you know, it's been a long road, and you can just see now they're checking out his leg, and it looks like it's his other knee that's not strapped.
So as we wait to deal with the injured player, we'll go to TJ for a little bit of talk about some stats, and also just get your thoughts on how this game is unfolding, TJ. And it is really a classic match here. We couldn't have asked for anything more from a commentary point of view so far.
No, exactly, Corey. I thought that last attacking set for Howick was massive for them. They managed to go 90 metres and trap them inside their own 10 metres, and a big defensive set there for Howick. Managed Glenora only getting 20 metres on the carry, so I think that last 2 minutes there is a massive 2 minutes in the context of this game. But Howick, they just need to continue building pressure here, I think, if they want to try and score some points. So they still got, just under 8 minutes to play now. So we'll see if Jethro Friend and his Howick Hornets can score a couple of points.
Just wonder what impact this stoppage will have now, because there was a ferocious sort of pace developing to this game, and not only the stoppage in play, but Troy, as we so often see, there's mental scars that come from seeing a teammate and an opponent go down like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And being tongue-tied at this point in time is whoever's going to switch on first. So from this break in play, and we've seen it time and time again as we get down to, the back end of the business season, when there is a break in play like we're seeing now, it's which team engages first. And you'd have to say, from mine, Howick being down this end, they were under immense pressure only moments ago. They're in the right part of the field. If, depending on what happens in this next set, and I sort of said off air to TJ, my gut feeling was with 15 minutes to go, whoever scores next is going to win this thing.
So really Buchanan getting the attention on the ground there, and while we wait, we might preview some of the things coming up, and probably timely that we've got TJ up here in the commentary box with us. Once all the Premiership stuff's finished, we've got the big region of origin. TJ, it was brilliant last year. It only gets better this year with the addition of girls' grades as well.
Yeah, and for those of you that were lucky enough to watch the women's grand final for the schools, that was an outstanding game, I thought. So, having the best of the best women Auckland players playing at this competition is only going to be good for our games. So I'm looking forward to those contests.
And a nice, I guess, treat for the players at the end of the season. You do your stuff with your club and hopefully you have some success. But either way, to, I guess, come together with all of the best of your peers, it must be a real thrill for those kids.
Yeah, I believe so, man. So last year was a massive success for us in the right direction in terms of rebuilding our rep program again. And like you said, having the likes of the best of the best playing around you can only make you a better player as well. And you also get experiences of having different coaches at the same time as well. So every coach brings their own brand, and obviously with that they can bring their own flavour and teach a few more skills to a lot of these young boys and young girls playing in this competition. So. Yeah.
And we talk about rebuilding the rep program, and kudos to the coaching and development team as well. I thought that Auckland Schoolboys clash was brilliant last week, and Troy, I know we got to call it. It was just really cool to see those guys come together and play.
Mate, fantastic. The Auckland Select College Rugby League team up against the Warriors Invitational, following up by Region of Origin happening, and of course Auckland's about to play France, and on top of that Penrith Panthers are coming over, and if we get the chance, TJ may know somebody who can talk a wee bit around Kiwi tag. Back to the action.
So Glenora Bears on the ball, and if you're just tuning back in, the long break for the injury to Daniel Reilly Buchanan, who was up on his feet by the end of it, thankfully, and Glenora will kick and out on the full. Oh, another twist. Kick out on the full. Advantage Howick.
It's the game that keeps on giving. Massive set here.
Prendergast to play the ball goes to Friend, and Clayton Williams, who has been impeccable today. What a force in the middle of the park. Tuia lining up for the next one. Tuia plays backdoor. No, he doesn't. Tricks everyone and just about reaches out himself here. Glenora on the goal line. Potentially their season on the line as well. And Papa just about ran in for an obstruction. Saved it in the end. And now Albrecht pops the ball to Foimono. And that's going to have gone close. Oh, Foimono, I think he's got there.
Wait for it. Wait for it. Boom.
McMillan points to the spot. An outrageous try. We'll go to the replay to look at it in a second. But Jesse Albrecht, he was going over the sideline somehow. Popped the ball back in. And Foimono, the presence of mind to collect it, to get the ball down. There was centimetres between him and the sideline.
Cameraman's got too much excitement as well. Yep, we get to see the boots. We get to see some running. Here it is. Escaped.
Wow, what a try. And what a call from the match official. On top of it, there was nothing in there.
He was there. He was right there. So 2 points in it with kick to come. 5 minutes hanging in the breach.
See here, Jethro Friend jumps out. That was so close to an obstruction there from Jordan Papa. Flings it out to Jesse Albrecht, who's gone Foimono, one hand, fingertips, somehow gets it, gets the ball down.
Look at the Glenora players. The law's getting laid down in there now.
20-18. Kick to come from Jesse Kevin.
4 minutes, 50 seconds thereabouts for Howick Hornets to progress one more square.
Big kick.
He's just falling off the tee.
That's just the rugby league gods delaying the anticipation, just letting it all build.
I don't know if the ball boy said that. He said, come on, mate, I want the tee.
Kevin strikes it. Okay off the boot, but away to the left. It will remain Howick Hornets 20. Glenora Bears 18. 4 minutes to play. So, do you go short from the kickoff? Do you go long and back your defence? Let's wait and see. It will be a short one, which is probably a bit too deep and is fielded by Connor Morris, and then Connor Morris gets swamped.
This set here, Corey, is important for Howick, I believe, man. They can't shut up shop and just defend their lead. I think they've got to still try and get a bit of momentum, a bit of yardage on attack, and look to find touch and wind down the clock a little bit more.
It's well said, TJ. They're still going to have to punch the line here, otherwise they're going to be kicking from deep in their own end. And Glenora will come straight back out, and there's time for a couple more sets here. Bishop arches the ball forward and is taken down on halfway.
For another big man, who's it going to be?
Tackle's still up their sleeve here. And Clayton Williams will go straight and hard, as he has done all day. Last play now coming up. Big kick coming up. Prendergast drills it into touch. That's a good set. It's a very good set from the Howick Hornets. I tell the Glenora Bears, if you want to go down the other end, you can do it the hard way. Chewing off 80 metres. Howick now will get the line set. Let's imagine the talk that's going on out there. Jethro Friend and Tony Tuia just directing the troops. 2 years in a row, they have been in this position and lost it. Scrum packs down. Paulie will be charged with the first carry. Who are the men to make a difference here for Glenora? Watch for Jordan Toure. Some of the men in the middle of the park. Zach Tippins as well. If he can get some quick play of the balls, they can create something. Here is JT. Shuffles play on to Chaz Brown. I complimented earlier.
He's been strong all day.
Back to the middle, they'll come now via Chase Bernard. Can't afford to give away a penalty here, Howick. Discipline so important. Tippins looks to his left. Comes back infield now. Lines up quickly for Howick. Recovers and takes him down 40 out from the line. Messi play the ball. Play on is the call, and then Toure comes back onto the inside. Ball comes loose. Howick have got it. Howick have got the football. There might only be time for one more set here.
Now, I was just going to say 1:30. Do Howick Hornet fans start to believe?
Prendergast will come back to the middle via Kevin, who's dropped the ball. Oh my goodness.
Going to say there, Corey, just as Howick got that turnover there, the coaching staff were jumping for joy. So, look, it's going to be a big 60 seconds here for Howick. But if they can manage to defend this set, they deserve to win the game.
Isn't pressure a funny thing? Jesse Kevin's had a brilliant game, and then out of nowhere, they come up with that. Get ready for the best minute of your life. Tippins off the back of the scrum. Goes to Toure. They head straight down the right edge via Simon Luafalialo. Tippins, they'll work the middle. The back line's been excellent. They've all worked hard in yardage.
Don't give away a penalty now.
Tuare is the first receiver. They then go out the back door. Howick sliding across. They're going to try their luck down the left-hand side here. Kenneth Finotti ducking, diving, weaving, and taking the ground 20 out from the line. Seconds left on the clock. Kavaliku, Suape, pops an offload to Bernard. Basketball pass. It's recovered by the Howick Hornets.
There it is.
The Hornets are going to the grand final.
Yeah, Coach Sean Clark is jumping for joy down there, so he seems happy.
That's it. The hood is going to go, guys.
No more August nightmares. The Howick Hornets are back in the SAS Fox Memorial Premiership Grand Final for the first time since 2011. What a game. What a performance. It ebbed, it flowed. And in the end, it is the Howick Hornets who come out victorious, 20 points to 18. Full credit to the Glenora Bears. They battled so hard. Were asked to come back from deficits a number of times. Look at the crowd there. Look at what it means to them. Tony Tuia on screen. He was among the hardest hit by last year's exit. As I mentioned before, he knows that there's not too many more opportunities for him to try and get through to a decider. And TJ, as we watch the veterans embrace on screen, what a performance that was. And in the end, the Howick Hornets, just pure grit gets them home.
Yeah, I thought they can, I think they can take a lot of credit out of that and a lot of confidence going into next week's grand final. So, yeah, man, they needed to dig deep there because for a 20-minute period, Glenora were hot on attack inside their own half, and there were a few times there where Glenora had a couple opportunities and just came away with errors. So unfortunately in rugby league sometimes it comes down to moments like those and big games like this. And look, congratulations to both teams, man. It was an awesome game to watch, and congratulations to Sean Clark and his Howick Hornets, and let's see how they go up next week against the Mighty Lions. Should be a good clash.
So Howick versus Mount Albert in the SAS Fox Memorial Premiership Grand Final. That'll be the third time in 4 weeks that we've seen that clash. Mount Albert have won the prior two. It's going to be a big one. Mount Smart Stadium number 1 is the curtain raiser to the Vodafone Warriors versus South Sydney Rabbitohs match. Keep an eye on aucklandleague.co.nz for all of the details, and of course live on Sky as well. On behalf of the Auckland Rugby League commentary team, thank you to the team at Stream Shop and my commentary partners today, TJ Ashford and Troy Hardy. We will see you again in a week's time.